Nice.
There we go.
Hey, everybody.
I know the good boys are actually, they have joined us, so I'm going to pull them in here in a second. But
Great.
First and foremost, what's up? This is Did You Reddit, weekly podcast about the internet by way of Reddit, the front page of the internet. My name is It's Your Dad.
I'm Dog Boobs.
My free day here in Ranch Dressing Studios.
It's Your Dad down here drinking the worst beer I've ever tasted. Shout out Common Space, Cool House, chocolate, molten cake, ice cream, beer.
Extra chonky.
Don't do it. Yeah, it is actually kind of chonky. I see what they were going for, and I like the concept where you can like kind of throw fucking anything into a blender and make a beer out of it.
Yeah,
I think it's like a funny idea, but it tastes like exactly the description. It tastes like the can looks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like
You know what I
ice cream, but pennies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if you blended pennies in old ice cream cake.
Yeah,
and sold it in a
ice cream cake.
And that looks like something you sell in the gift store in a upscale casino in Las Vegas. Like, and someone's like,
pretty much.
Yeah, this is definitely for me, Barbara. Barb, check it out. They put coconut, put cake, and a beer.
It reminds me of when I went to the North Korea, which I did actually go to North Korea.
That's insane.
I went to the gift shop at the border, and they had North Korean like novelty beer.
Oh
so
my God.
there was one point in my life where I was just like staring at the North Korean flag over the border, drinking like a cool like North Korean Michelob. And
wow.
it was a surreal moment, and it
Better
didn't taste anything like this, but much better than this beer. and I have a liquor from them too that actually tastes and smells exactly like cocaine. So I don't think there's cocaine in it, but it's almost identical to cocaine, which is crazy. So anyway, so like I mentioned at the beginning of the pod, we're actually joined by some guests today. We've been looking forward to having these guys on for a minute. I know that they're buddies of Freed's and fellow screenwriters, right?
Yeah, these guys write action movies, but the good kind. You know,
John
the
Wick
stuff where
2, John Wick 3,
Taken,
all the John
1,
Wicks.
2, 3.
We can ask them about it. You know what? They're kind of those friends
I
that I have that we don't talk about work stuff at all. It's just like we end up much like you, Dad, when we met. Like there was just a ramble that went on for like a couple of years before it was like, what's your name? It's like one of those relationships.
Hey man, remember I met you that one time at that brunch. Do you want to go? Like maybe throw baseballs? Would you be into that? Which is literally what we did, right? We just
That's
like went
a beautiful start to a friendship.
It was a pretty surreal adult friendship where like I don't have any good friends that I get to like go fucking throw the ball with, you know?
Honestly, I think that's so cool.
I love it. But anyway, so I'm going to bring in the good boy guys on today. We're going to be talking about starter packs because they are kind of the fucking masters of starter packs. Like their Instagram is just like shredded with starter packs. And I was like, we had a few other things we wanted to talk about, but I was like, you know what? We can't miss this opportunity to like kind of like what we did with Frag Splits where we talked about scents and we were idiots and we didn't know anything about them. Like all we knew was Drakkar Noir. I feel like there's a good opportunity to talk to them about starter packs. So anyway.
Yeah, just before, I mean, just like maybe a little background. They have a podcast called Camp Good Boy. And they're brothers, and we'll get more details out of them. But just to hype them up a little bit, I think, like what Dad said, I mean, their output of starter packs are relentlessly intense. They make everybody else feel like you're not putting out anything on Instagram. So
no, they're like
we'll get into all the dirty deeds.
Crazy accurate.
They are.
So everyone, download their pod and start listening to the goods.
Love it. All right, so welcome, Camp Good Boy. What's up, good boys?
Yeah. The good boys, the campers.
Could
Good
you
to
guys
see you.
hear all the preamble I was giving you, or was it like were you guys off? We haven't done a guest on this new format yet.
Oh no, we heard everything. Yeah, well, we were actually going to chime in, but we're like, I don't think we're out of the green room yet.
Okay, yeah, you guys were sitting in the green room. We were kind of giving you that like we're giving you like the bad improv comic that starts before you, and everybody's just kind of like,
It's like just move on to them.
Yeah.
I think these
Anyway,
guys wrote on Martin in 1996.
we have some. Also, by the way, we have we're not gonna, we may or may not address this because I don't think we're kind of equipped to. But last week, Greg asked us about Dogecoin, and was it last week? I think it was whenever we did our big like trading thing. But we actually have in the future, we're gonna have a guest that we talk a little bit more about insider trading. We're gonna be doing a pod entirely dedicated to getting arrested by the SEC. So that one comes out in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about Dogecoin then. But anyway, that's not why we're here. How you boys doing?
Really good. Thanks for having us,
dude. Of course. No, we like what you do, and I feel like there's a companion, like an internet companionship between our like a kind of attempted our brain waves of kind of like what we like out about a podcast. So I've wanted this happen for a while, and Freed has been extremely like. He's been a gatekeeper of his friendship with you guys. So,
by the way,
John, I was trying to keep you guys to myself. Yeah,
your threads are super fresh tonight.
I thought because of starter packs, we're doing starter jackets, right? That's what? No, I was thinking, I was like, because we were joking around on text about starter jackets and starter packs, and I was like, I think I have a starter jacket. This is a starter jacket. So these came out. I mean, you guys want to take this one?
Is that a starter jacket?
That's like a hoodless starter jacket. Like a starter jacket would be that, a little puffier with a hood. But it might be like the starter brand, but it's like a modified.
Oh, wow.
All right, so we stand corrected.
I thought the starter jackets were always like the winter jackets with like the hood.
Well, on the East Coast where you guys are from, they are. See, in upstate New York, you guys are from upstate New York, right? Where those police or those prisoners raped that guard. You're from that town, right? Is that what your area's known for?
That
my only reference for where you guys are from is that series that Ben Stiller did where those prisoners had sex with the prison guard.
Shit, yeah, yes. Escape from Dannemora.
Yeah, we're from right near that.
We grew up, the accents were like very much like that. That's like how
I love that.
In Watertown. Yeah.
But I think West Coast starter jackets had less puff, is what I'm getting to.
Yeah,
I kind of see what you mean here. Yeah. I'm Google imaging this. I got it.
This is more of a business jacket, you know.
I appreciate that none of us on this podcast, none of the five of us actually know what a starter jacket is.
No, no idea.
Being asked by our viewers right now if it is a sports jacket, and I think we're all like, what? Well.
I feel like
it's like jacket. I don't know.
If you put like cotton stuffing into a windbreaker, kind of, you know.
And like they were like for mall drug dealers. Like if you were like in like pills at the mall, you'd have like a starter jacket.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The best
like steer clear.
That episode of Married with Children where Bud Bundy wore like the Raiders starter jacket. Yeah, mostly like I mean like Ice Cube wore, and then like see Bud Bundy where it was like, oh wow,
yeah.
Well, I appreciate the like very vague association with what the topic is today, which kind of started this whole conversation.
We should
shared one word.
We should propose to Starter that they make starter pack starter jackets, and they're like starter jackets, but instead of teams, it's like their favorite starter pack on the thing, or like on the back.
That's beautiful.
Starter, yeah.
I mean, if I saw a guy wearing that around, I would stop him and be like, "Do you want to come to my wedding?" Or like, "You're pretty cool."
Yeah. Do you want to be in my wedding?
You want to be in my groom?
I'm looking for one. I got one more spot to fill out the whole wedding role. Do you want to be in? Are you the guy?
Yeah, we had one groomsman who was like, and he's out, dude. You're in.
He's out. Yeah. When you start playing.
But yeah, I mean, the one you're wearing looks like you are like on the Giants.
Sorry, I can't hear it.
The one that you like wear in the dugout.
It looks like the jacket you you straight up wear in the dugout. Like that looks like a professional baseball jacket.
Yeah, like there's nothing ironic about it. It's like just straight up like you're starting for a sports team. Like
I'm starting. No, this is like I'm starting in 6 days, and for the next 4 days, I'm going to be getting like super hammered in Milwaukee. It's like that's the baseball life.
I love it. Anyway, all right. So we are going to start talking about starter. Actually, I think before we really get into the starter pack world, I actually would like to know a little bit more about what you guys do, because I think that we were talking a little bit about your guys' world of, you guys are screenwriters, you guys write action films, but I think just to give our listeners some context, not that what you guys do professionally has literally anything to do with starter packs, but I think it is worth giving you guys a little bit of credibility. Like what have you guys worked on? Like what do you guys write, etc.?
That's a great question. And honestly, if you'd asked it like 2 years ago, it's like that. It would have been like the most awful answer that you give someone on an airplane to try and make it sound like you have a career that should be respected. Because if you're a screenwriter, you're literally just like, until you have a movie made, you literally just sound like a bullshit artist. But we saw our first movie 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It's
it's called The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard?
Yeah, it's a sequel to Hitman's Bodyguard.
Oh my God.
So
fuck yeah.
I've been writing screenplays for about like 18 years, I think. And it's like, so by the way, don't get into this profession. Like,
oh my God, this is awesome.
We have another one of those that does our podcast, so we're very fully aware. Like every time I talk to Dom about it, I'm like, how's work going? He's like, you mean like not working for a year and a half while I pitched aimlessly into the void to try to get some work? It's going good. It's going great.
Most people have learned to stop asking. They're just it's like how's that brain tumor going? You're like, I'll let you know when I've beat it,
Damn.
Let's say you've written like 20 movies that have gotten made and like everybody knows them. Even if you told somebody on the plane that you're a screenwriter, they're still gonna be like, but what do you write?
What is that?
It is. It's a really hard job.
It's a very weird identity. Like, even if you're good at it, like you've made movies, so I wouldn't recommend it to anyone if you think it's going to satisfy your ego at all, because
for sure.
And even when you make it, you go to the premiere and no one gives a shit about it. I would actually say, and I can't speak for my brother because he is more of the pack star, but I think starter packing has been more like gratifying than anything we've ever done like for movies.
God, that's so
Hollywood.
amazing.
I love the allure of Hollywood, where it's straight up like, I know so many people that are like this too, where like they'll have a huge hit and then it'll be like, yeah, you're the guy that's like known for that one thing. And then they'll be like, yeah, I haven't made money or gotten anything from that for like literally 6 years. So I'm just a guy. Like, you got any work? I can do work if you want me to do work. It's funny. Like the Hollywood dream is so hilarious to me because it is like,
And then when it actually happens, like when we went and saw the first movie for the first time, I've gotten to a point in my life where like I didn't need it anymore, and I was just like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, totally. Whereas normally we probably would have like, I don't know, gone to like Mastro's or something. Make it starter.
Cool, man. I dug it. I thought it was funny. Yeah. All right. Yo, let's just see you on the podcast next week.
Well, you guys have a new career now on being kind of meddling internet celebrities to make starter packs. So I think this is a good opportunity to talk to you guys about this. So, so why don't we get into it? So what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the starter packs subreddit, because I think the subreddit is obviously like a huge popular. Do you have it pulled up, Dog?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So I'm pulling up the subreddit right now. And for anybody who's following along, it's r/starter packs. And it's like a colossal fucking subreddit. Like, what is it, 1.9 million?
Yeah, it's got over 1 million.
Yeah, I don't know what M stands for, but it's 1.9 M.
I don't freaking
know. It has 1.9 M,
meters.
Which is like
meters worth
of what like Wall Street Bets is now, which is insane.
It's pretty crazy. And it's only about, what year is it? It's like 5 years old. So
I think it's pretty old one.
Huge.
This has been around for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
starter,
go ahead, Dom.
I was going to say, Ian, we'll get into sort of the birth of starter packs too. I mean, they're not. This 2014 is not that long ago, but for things like this on the internet, it feels like the beginning. It feels like Adam and Eve kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we'll
That's
talk
really
about like the
beautiful.
birth of the starter pack. Hasn't been around.
I wonder
that
what
long,
the first starter pack was.
I think it was the "Can I speak to the manager" starter pack.
The
Mm.
bangs.
Hair and haircut and like.
Oh my god, that's really iconic. Actually,
I
we
think
should
that's
pull that one up.
I was like, wow, that's really. It was like 2015.
Wow.
Crazy. Now, I'm gonna look and see. I'm actually very curious because Know Your Meme, of course, is always a great place, and it looks like. The one they're using as a reference is the "I yell at my wife in public" starter pack.
I love that one.
It's really funny. Let me pull up my screen. I think I probably can.
This is a nice walk down memory lane here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started out like really putting a spotlight on like white trash.
God, yeah.
It seems like that was the beginning because it definitely is, and those I think are my favorites. Usually, when I kind of when I see that is like it's something that I immediately recognize. I'm from West Virginia and I'm from Appalachia, so I always like see these bits of like the person that like the person who posts Blue Lives Matter on Facebook starter pack, right? I look at that and I'm just like, I know those people. I relate to those.
I just saw on the news your death rate went, like your death age per capita went down this year in Appalachia. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, death
sounds
rate.
Right. That
like,
sounds right.
Good.
Like the average age is decreasing, which is not good.
Not good.
You want it to increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
I thought you said the rate was going down, but the age.
Now more people
down.
are dying younger, and so
that sounds
that's
accurate.
not good.
So this is the origin story. So the multi-panel image series on Twitter began to take off in 2014 when It's Latina Bliss tweeted a photo set consisting of 3 images showing a top-knot bun hairstyle, oversized golden hoop earrings, and Madonna piercing. The I date black guy starter pack. Wow, so racy beginning. Interesting.
Very racy beginning.
This is built on the bones of segregation and racism, I think.
just like America. I mean, it's very American.
Which I did not realize.
This is kind of amazing.
Yeah, but then so the term starter kit defined as a set of articles or equipment providing essential items and instructions for taking up a particular activity or process for the first time have long been used in commercial and educational literature to describe manuals or instructional guides for beginners. For instance, the 2014 World Cup, Twitter unveiled a special starter kit service of crash courses. So originally it was like kind of sincere in a semi-sincere. It seems like it was always like kind of built that way, and then it looks like it hit its top. It looks like it was really hitting its stride in
with the my dad will sue your dad. Sorry.
Oh yes, with like the
that was a big
3-layer
one.
pop collars. That's a good one too.
Yeah,
the one with the I date black guys original starter pack reminds me of one that I saw on the front page or the top of all time. Switch over real quick because this is so funny.
switching over.
Girl who disrespects the teacher for no reason starter pack.
Oh,
We've all known this girl, right?
totally.
But doesn't she also secretly get a 1570 on the SATs?
Yes, she also got into UCLA and I didn't.
Yeah.
You
So
didn't want to go
also-
there, Doc.
My dad's proud of her. I
went
didn't
to
want
a-
to go there.
And this girl was always getting into arguments with the nuns.
Oh yeah.
It was the way. It was the time.
And this girl
so that-
completely shoplifts from Limited 2. 100%.
Basically, my girlfriend. My girlfriend got arrested for shoplifting when she was in high school. So.
And she calls ecstasy.
Yeah, and she called ecstasy pills.
Yeah. We got pills. We got pills.
You know what's interesting? It's interesting having this conversation about starter packs because I feel like the way having essentially having 4 writers on this pod right now because I'm not a screenwriter, but I've journalism and kind of advertising in some capacity or another, and I feel like starter packs are they're character development. That's all they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which is kind of like the beauty of them is like you're taking these pieces where you're just like if you name And I think maybe this is a fun exercise that we can all go down, where it's kind of like name a character where you go like, like a janitor at a high school in space, right? And then like you would be able to like name the pieces that would construct that starter pack. And then obviously develop the story around that person, which I think is probably part of the reason why you guys are attracted to it. It's kind of fits the need that you guys are already doing anyway.
You can almost create a world that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, totally.
From the starter pack and like create something and be like, the janitor in outer space, and it like totally doesn't even make sense, but it does. Like he only has one hand.
Right. And because it's like you end up knowing the pieces. Like you could be like he only has one hand, but his like shirt has like cigarette burns in it, and then under the cigarette burns is like a scale. You know what I mean? Like you got all these pieces.
There's like a warrant out for his arrest on a different moon or something.
Yeah, that's like that.
Yeah.
God.
What do you guys think about what Dad was saying there about like the character development of all? How do you describe it, or how do you look at it as far as like a snapshot, or do you not? Do you just fucking output?
Well, I mean, as far back as I can remember, I mean, we've always like talked about
the Goodfellas.
As far back as I can remember, I just wanted to be a starter packer. Yeah. Well, like we would always joke about like, and even with my friends, we're always joking about like, just like certain types of like dudes or bros, like, you better be good to her, bro.
Yeah.
And just they're just like, man, like, oh, he's so that guy. And like when we started the Camp Good Boy, I think like, just people that I've just like observed throughout my entire life. I'm like the cool guy soccer player in high school.
Yeah.
Right. There's just some specific type, and those are my favorite ones to make. Like the really ones that like really just zero in on like a specific kind of like douche, or like just a regular like dude. I don't know. Like they're the most fun thing to make.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really fun too, because it's like there are these archetypes that we all recognize, but we are all part of a generation where I feel like they have similar characteristics, like a Monster Energy drink and like trucks with raised wheels. Like I feel like it's stuff like regardless of where you grew up, we've seen like the douchebag in high school had the same pickup truck regardless of where you grew up. Like we all know it.
There's a specificity to it that it seems it would be so niche, yet it's so universal. Like I was just looking at my face mask doesn't cover my nose starter pack. And the sticker that said everything I ever needed to learn about Islam, I learned on September 11th. With like wearing your mask a certain way, yet everybody would get, oh my God, no, that is exactly what that fucking dude is.
It's like a signal.
It's signaling, but it's also interesting that it's I think a lot of these kind of derive from high school in one way or another too, where I've noticed that like the high school, and part of this could be also Reddit, where Reddit is a very I wouldn't say it's a high school thing, but there are certain subs that really like the high schoolers flock to, and I feel like there's something about the generalizations that you make in high school because of the grouping systems are so much more specific, where like you do have like the jocks, the fucking the cheerleaders, the goth kids, the fucking loser like chess kids, like everybody kind of fits into these little groups. So I think it's easier to stereotype people, and I feel like there's a lot of like even what we're talking about with like the mall or like the kid who like used to be a quarterback in high school, kind of starter pack, like those things are all kind of derived from your origin story of when your community started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like there's the kid who's too high at the high school football game, and it's just
like the baggy jeans, and the red eyes, and
it's just like a very specific way of standing. Like,
totally.
And it seems like it would be so specific that you wouldn't even think about that. Yet when you see it, you're like, oh my God, yes, that's everywhere. I think that's the sweet spot of a starter pack. They seem like it would be too niche for anyone to get, yet they're like just universal.
Yeah, no, I mean when I post one, most of the time when I post a starter pack, I'm like, this is probably gonna bomb because I don't know if anyone's gonna, and they end up like killed. So I'm like, oh wow.
I'm curious about your like how it's helped your brand grow over the last. I mean, I feel like within the last 2 years you've been pretty heavy on it, or maybe the last year or something. But it's been so consistent and so good that I'm like, to me, you guys have become like the best and the best there ever was, like I'm just curious, like, has it grown your podcast brand and just everything just through being consistent doing it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's followers out there that are just like, oh man, I don't want to, like, even if I post a meme that's like really funny, I'm sure they're like, no, I want more starter packs.
Yeah.
Just want starter packs.
So you're now, you've like pigeonholed your comedy character, and you have like a catchphrase, like like you have like a line, and everyone's like, more starter packs. You're like, no, I wrote a poem. I want to do poems now. They're like, fuck you, starter pack guy.
We're a poem Instagram feed now. We do poems.
Yeah, we're trying to switch to poems. Everything's different.
I think it's like being a meme lord is sort of like the new rock star. I think being like a pack creator is kind of like the new sort of like edgelord punk rock star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's interesting. Yeah, the world of the meme celebrity is a really odd one, right? It's like a strange, because a lot of these people, I mean, apart from like fuck Jerry or whatever, it's like who kind of turned it into like a massive commodity. I feel like most of the people that run these really successful meme accounts, and I think everybody has their favorites, but they all kind of like, they still stay in obscurity. Like you don't really know them. You just know they're kind of like their brand of comedy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting with starter packs too, because starter packs I feel like are a bit of like there have been so many generations of meme humor in starter packs because it's like kind of one of the originals. It kind of has like a classic feel in the context of these other surreal memes, where I think a lot of kind of the meme world has gone. Like the more popular memes are in this like strange, surreal, like you need to know these like 6 niche things to like really get what it's talking about. Mm-hmm. And starter packs are like kind of rightfully down the middle, so it feels like a universal thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right.
So I'm actually going to pull up your guys' Instagram feed, by the way, because I think I would actually love to talk to you about some of the genesis of those before we kind of get into the subreddit too. So we're talking, for anybody who's just listening for the subreddit, by the way, it's like the subreddit is just starter packs. Like it's not like you're going to find some like grand, intellectual contribution to the starter pack conversation. That is what it is. It's starter packs. So what we're having is a little bit outside of it, but still related.
I'll say there's kind of a mirror effect with what Reddit is as far as like a community of communities. Right. Each individual starter pack is almost like shines a light on the essence of a community through maybe a certain kind of a person. So there seems to be like a really nice balance or paralleling going on between, what each thing represents. Like this is just in the nutshell version of every subreddit that's out there, kind of thing.
Totally.
That's my insight for the day. I'm done.
I like being the meme lord is like the new rock star. Like when a few of my memes have made it onto Know Your Meme, and when I saw that, I was more excited about that than like
seeing the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
I was like, oh, Know Your Meme. All right.
Wait, you had some stuff on Know Your Meme?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's pretty huge.
Wow, I'd be excited about that. Like you sold the show to CBS, like you got your stuff on Know Your Meme.
Know Your Meme though.
Now I'm listening.
That means I've Googled my own starter packs, which I don't know. Is that worth it?
How else do you know? You could be the guy and you don't even know you're the guy, like.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to Google it.
Well, that's a really interesting thing, because that is kind of the world of the meme creation now, where I think about that a lot. I think about like, who is the first person who created the distracted boyfriend meme? Like it's like it's been lost in time, but like that person is one of the most influential creators of anything.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
It reminds me of like an artist that's like, you know what? I don't need to sign this because it's for the people, It's almost like you don't really need to remember because it's had such an impact on society. You'll live with it.
But it actually
I love that.
And you're connecting with people while they're like going from the office to like make copies or something. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're making art, someone has to go to a gallery, or if you're making a movie, someone has to go sit. It's just a nice way, and I think it just connects cerebrally in a way that it takes people out of their like, oh my god. And there's kind of a not renaissance, but a what is that word where like you remember
nostalgia. Like that. Yeah,
there's a nostalgia there, so it's like nostalgia porn.
So why don't we?
It is.
So why don't we talk about this one I have pulled up then? So for anybody who's just listening, so I have one pulled up right now. We're gonna be referencing a lot of images. So I mean, go to our subreddit, Did You Reddit, or go to the Camp Good Boy Instagram page, which is just Camp Good Boy, and you will see kind of what we're referencing. But the one I have pulled out right now is the hanging out at the mall in the '90s starter pack, which I like this one because we just talked about the mall, and I think this hits a lot of the things we were just referencing, and particularly in nostalgia. So why don't you explain this and explain the decisions you made in choosing this?
I mean, God, it's just that's everywhere I went in the mall when I would go to that. I mean, the reason I was in our mall called Tape World.
Oh yeah,
but I didn't know if Tape World like existed in other parts of the country.
Right.
So there were some people in the comments were just like, "Where's the Sam Goody?" Which is my most my biggest pet peeve. It's like, yo, I only have room for only so many images.
Totally.
you make your own.
I wanted to ask you about this. Let's pin that because I want to bring that up later.
This is actually, we're literally getting that. So Jingle Hops, what's up, Jingle Hops from Twitch right now. So FYE, which I agree with, because we had an FYE in my mall, and I was like, that was one of those things. I see this, and like, we didn't have a Sbarro, but like every mall had a Sbarro. So I always felt this like shame of like, I always felt like we were a local mall,
like a shittier mall because you
yeah.
didn't have a Sbarro.
I can smell that starter.
But no, so like I would always go to Sbarro, and I thought Sbarro to me was like the best. It was like better pizza than like you can get on like Greenwich Village.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was so good. And then like Walden books I would always go to, but I would never buy a book. Like ever. I would have to go browse like the whole place. And then Mrs. Fields always had like those big cookie cakes. It's like a giant 12-inch cookie.
Oh, and like Spencer, you might be able to see some like almost porn at. Like,
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Spencer was great. I love the inclusion of the payphone.
I know.
That's the only way you're gonna get home.
Yeah. And then
You gotta call mom.
I would play. I remember Area 51, which I guess is like the Chuck area from first-person shooter games.
yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
I mean,
damn.
it was either that or the X-Men arcade game. Like I played the X-Men arcade game a lot growing up.
That
But
was,
I
like,
love. I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
what was that?
It was either that or like Cruising USA.
Yeah.
So this is actually interesting because I feel like this is another thing where like, you know, there are 4 men on this pod right now, 1 woman. And Spencer Gifts, I feel like my relationship with Spencer Gifts was kind of what you guys just said, where it was like you'd go in there and you'd kind of like look around a little bit and you'd be like, you'd like pull up one of like the like birthday cards, like the weird naughty birthday cards and shit.
Yeah.
You'd be like, holy shit. So I think
you guys.
so. Dog, what was your relationship with Spencer Gifts? Like, was that kind of the female perspective too, or was it a little bit more like
Spencer
that's
Gifts
where
was
that's where
like
the 12-year-old boys go?
I mean, here's the thing. The closest thing that I remember to like that feeling is going to like smaller gift shops in the Midwest where you would be like up in like northern Wisconsin. They have these gift shops where it's like, oh, really, really cool, like Native American stuff in the front. And you're lured in by all these dream catchers and things. And then you realize there's a mystery room in the back and you like kind of make your way back there. And then you realize that's where all the sex toys are. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know why I wandered here when I'm like only 10. And so that's like how it kind of makes me think of that.
It was like a hatchet / dildo kind of.
It's like it's like a hatchet on one end and a dildo on the other end. It's weird.
Sure, yeah.
That pink squishy head.
Oh, the pink with the eyes that come out.
Yeah, it was about like that big, and it always had like these pointy ears that came out. It was like a stress ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like near like the checkout. I feel like you.
Wow, amazing!
Also,
What an amazing recall.
Where you could you could like give it the middle, like put your middle finger in, and like the nails would like be the shape.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Wait a minute.
See, and,
is
like
it
this is
this?
so what's happening right now is really interesting because like this is a little bit of a Panic Pete.
Yeah.
That thing?
Love it.
It's not that, but I Spencer Gifts definitely carried those.
It was the stuff there was like it was just like it was like subversive kind of, but like for that
Totally.
age, almost like a porn shop for teenagers.
Yeah, it was a punk rocky vibe, right? Like
Right.
it was all a little naughty. There was like fart books and
Totally.
Isn't there a Spencer's Gifts like right by UCLA right now? Isn't there? Like,
I hope.
Isn't it down in Brentwood?
I think there. I mean,
And it's like
very possible.
Yeah.
It feels like a brand
like,
that could come back.
Era.
there should be. Actually,
Yeah.
And then
it
like
really should be.
Sharper Image was like Spencer Gifts for like kind of rich
For like
people.
nouveau riche dads.
That's right.
That wore like mock
That
necks,
was for dads.
a Wilson suede leather bomber jacket, going to pick up something with like, the new like crypto profits or whatever. Like,
You know what's really interesting about what we're doing right now, because I feel like this is kind of the process, right? Like where you look at something and you go, oh, you know what, that like, because you could do the way we're talking about it right now is we're talking about like a starter pack for Spencer Gifts, for instance, right? And like the way you would articulate that is like 12-year-old experiencing puberty for the first time starter pack, right? And it's just like Spencer Gifts, the middle finger thing, like the the card, like you could find fucking Playboys in a weird cabinet in your like uncle's like garage. You know,
That's
what I mean?
exactly where my Playboys hung out, was in my uncle's garage, and like that's
Hell yeah, we're safe.
you nailed it.
But that's so interesting because this is like through the lens of nostalgia. And, you know, when you talk about being a screenwriter, I mean, I guess I didn't really intend, or I wouldn't have assumed we intended to talk about screenwriting through this lens. But like, I think the way we're talking about the starter pack conversation is in a way the conversation about, you know, if you want to become a screenwriter, if you want to like learn how to write stories, it's a little bit of what's happening right now, right? Where you go like, who is the character? He was a 12-year-old in 1987. All right, what does that comprise of? What is the world in which he's, you know, engaged with, right? And then you kind of go, well, he goes into Spencer Gifts and he sees the little like needle thing. He puts his middle finger in it, right? And he like shows it to his buddy, and his buddy's like, oh, that's funny, dude. And like that is kind of the act of writing a character in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's my favorite part about like screenwriting is creating the world and like creating the characters as opposed to getting. I mean, the dialogue's fun too, but I just love like the scene descriptions.
yeah.
That's one of my most favorite. That's like one of my favorite parts.
By the way, those
Go ahead.
those needle things are not going to survive COVID.
Oh yeah,
Like, just
No, they're not.
1,000 people are putting their hands into every day, and then it doesn't get like cleaned or sanitized.
No, never. Yeah, no, never. But like that was always the highlight of me to go to New York. When we would go to New York City as kids in the '90s, was like, oh, there was a Sharper Image on Fifth Avenue. It's like, oh, I got to go to the Sharper Image. It was like, I've never seen this place before. It was incredible. Like, forget going to see the sights. Let's go to that place with like the
Yeah, because that's what's like popping off when you're a kid. Like that's
That electrical zapper ball thing you could touch. I mean, that was.
Oh my god! Yeah, like all the light lasers go up on.
Hey guys! Next big movie we all sell to get that big Hollywood money. We're all buying those. That's on the list. That's our sellout money. That and that Mrs. Fields giant cookie, and that's it.
I mean, there's a lot coming from somebody with 2 children.
Oh yeah, I can't afford it.
There's a lot of stuff I could have included in that one, but like my fondest memories are just like the arcade, the Walden books, the Sbarro, the tape world. But again, just like that was a tough one.
Yeah.
So let's look into another one. So go ahead, Fried, while I look for another.
As you look for another one, I mean, talking about, because I was laughing at, you guys had a great one, the random golf bag shit, whatever starter pack.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just like perfectly right on. It was like shit you find in your golf bag or something like that. And I was reading the comments, and everybody was just going like, what about this? You forgot this, dude. What about that? And I started laughing because my initial instinct was to actually like do that. And then I started reading and I'm like, oh, this must happen to you guys constantly. And it's super annoying. And of course, like this is, and so just, I mean, do you ever yell at people, or do you just go like, I'm happy you're listening? Like, how do you handle the fame?
I usually just have like a smarmy remark, like I ran out of room.
Yeah.
Or one time I made a meme like in response to that was like the Matthew McConaughey in True Detective smoking a cigarette, looking at his phone, like when somebody says like, you forgot this in a starter pack.
There it is. Done.
I'm doing a pretty good job of ignoring them.
Yeah, I guess you just ignore them. I think actually, like, people have a Like people, I think people have an innate like response that it's so familiar what you guys do in a good way that people kind of go like, oh fuck, like A, I wish I could think of this, and B, if I did, I would have added this. And so it's almost like
Totally.
it means you're sort of nailing it and nailing the nuance in a great way where people are responding. It's affecting them.
Packs they're like deceptively normy, but not, but like way more nuanced. But like because you can, there's also starter packs that are like the depressed Aries 23-year-old starter pack, like filled with so much stuff you can't even fucking read.
Right.
And this is so this one kind of inches close to that because this one is like highly specific. But you know, we all live in LA. We get this one, right? Where like I look at this and I'm like, oh god, this is
hate everything about it.
I hate everything about it. But I know it really intimately because I think we live in LA. We know the hiking culture in LA, and I think this is the couple things I think you guys have also done well, which I've kind of been looking through your feed, is like there's a way to like almost report the news and report current events by way of starter packs, which is kind of interesting, right? Where you're seeing like I saw the one that was like the what to wear at inauguration day starter pack, which is like it's pinpointing a moment in time that is in itself a news era. And then this one I think is interesting because this one is like highly specific to a very, very contextual part of culture that most people aren't going to understand, but even the people who don't get it will look at these individual pieces and go like, oh, I get the kind of person who that is, even though I've never been to LA, I've never been hiking in LA, I don't like hiking, yada yada, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's worth, I mean, maybe like talk about this one a little bit for anybody who's not from LA. I think this is maybe an interesting one to reference.
I mean, it's just I go. I mean, I hike probably like once or twice a week, and I mean, there's always somebody taking a selfie, like on the top of like the cliff. And I think that probably happens in most like hiking trails throughout the world, but like in LA, it's like all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's always the dog, the little dog off the leash. There's always the dude that's not hiking who's jogging up and down the hill.
Oh, that's
right.
Shirt on. And like, yeah, there's so many hiking pictures on Instagram. The girl is always like got that kind of style on, and it's always the dirt trail. And then literally, like, I just put Raya on there, which is like the celebrity dating app, because like, I don't know, it's
douchey.
I'll do that.
It's perfect.
In fact, I'll just put a random thing that maybe shouldn't be there, but like it just kind of makes it. It just kind of brings it a little bit.
Well, I mean, I get that because I think that this is so Raya for anybody who's listening who's not from Los Angeles or not on this like fucking celebrity dating site. Like Raya is a invite only dating site, but it's one of those things where it's like it's invite only, but like everybody I know has a Raya. Like it's not like that exclusive. It's not like it's only fucking Jonathan Taylor Thomas and fucking Charlie Theron, you know. But it's
it's true. Like you're at the point where you're like you don't want to say this to someone, but you kind of go like, you're on Raya? Like totally. you're a cool person, but like you're not a celebrity. You know, it's like totally. It seems like they've opened it up too far. It's disappointing when your friends are in it. I don't.
I think it was also those two people in the starter pack are definitely on Raya.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They 100%. Met on Raya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love the comment here. Sunset Boomerang with caption, "Not bad, LA, not bad."
You know what? And his comments on my starter packs are really strong.
Well, yeah, you get people become comment stars.
Yeah, he's one of them.
So fascinating. Like so, we have a couple people like that too. I mean, we have, we've been doing this podcast for a while, and we're like fairly niche in the grand scheme of things, but we have like, and we talk about them on the podcast all the time because they become like our like friends that we don't know. Where we have, a lot of people that we're like, yeah, we absolutely love. The newest one's like Blaustein 23 is his name. I don't know what his real name is, but he's like constantly talking to me on Reddit, and I'm just like, I like this guy. He's a cool guy, but he's our version of the commenter where he like more engages with us by way of the Reddit ecosystem versus on the comments, obviously, where kind of most of yours are. But it's funny that when you open up the world a little bit to your thought process and this is actually a good example, like Jingle Hops, being a comment star is nice. It's really the closest thing we can get to you. I love it. I mean, that's exactly right. And I think that this is like, because this is, I mean, at the end of the day, this is all also like community building, right? I think that a lot of us are, we especially in COVID, where like, we're at home doing these things and we don't really see a lot of people during the day and whatever. And then that moment where you kind of go, oh, it's funny, there's a Sbarro and that, oh, dude, I love Sbarro. And you're just like, this person's like me. They're like, they get it. They get what I'm into. And that like is like kind of a in the world where we don't get to see everybody every day. I think that's like a really nice moment of connection. And even through like making fun of people on fucking the LA hiking scene, it's still like these people are in LA. Oh, they get it. Oh, they must be on the same hiking trail I'm on. Tight,
Yeah, these comments were actually weird because there were people that were just like, oh, this is everywhere. I'm like, dude, yeah, this is the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking
Come on.
There's no Ryan in the Ozarks.
Like most hiking starter pack
Tinder in the Ozarks
would be like boots and hiking socks and like a bandana.
Yeah, you could have easily put like a North Face in there and made it a completely different.
Like, this doesn't speak for everybody in LA, because I mean, it's like I don't do any. I mean, I have AirPods, but like, I saw like 2 people that were dressed like that when I was hiking. I think last week, and I was like, I'm going back to the starter pack offices. I'm gonna fire this one off. Yeah,
I think LA's LA hiking scene is like kind of terrible, right? I mean, as far as like the topography, it's just like a lot of scrubby brush and dry ass rubble. It's like it's not beautiful.
It's not beautiful, but there are a lot of weird. Like I think everybody in LA is like hiked that one trail where you like go down to like the old Nazi encampment. Where like,
oh my god, no!
Oh yeah, there's like this old trail. I don't know what it's called. But
that was the Fourth Reich.
You go down there, and it's just like there's just like it's like a crazy beautiful like graffiti war zone. And it's like evidently there used to be like a Nazi encampment or some fucking bullshit.
In the 50s, the Nazis tried to reboot in LA after the war and like started up again. Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh wow.
It's like it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, it's a real
LA's the scene. It's like Runyon Canyon, which I've only done once, like 8 years ago. It's like a scene. I'm like, this is
a total scene.
It's so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I've never actually done the Runyon Canyon thing for that reason. It's like it's got such a mythology behind it that I'm just like, I don't want to do it. Not for me.
It's kind of like a Gold's Gym experience. Like I don't hike and I don't lift weights, but if I was I'd go to Gold's Gym. I think Gold's Gym is one of those places where everyone's juicing and like too ripped. I feel like it's inspiring in a way where you're like, load up the racks, man. Load them up, dude. Let me get this. So like when you're at Runyon and everyone's like super good looking, you're like, I'm gonna run a little bit harder up this hill and blow up my heart when I get to the top.
Blow up my heart from the excess.
I feel like you have to work out and hike at like shittier trails until you're hot enough to go to Runyon, and then
That's a good point. Totally. Yeah. You got to be an 8.7 or higher.
You don't start there. Yeah, you don't just go. You gotta work up to that one.
There's a good trail in Van Nuys you might want to hit first for a couple of years.
I don't know if you know about the LA River, but if you walk along that for a while and then stop eating, maybe you can go to Runyon one day.
Get there. Just walk around Sunset Boulevard in a full Batman costume. That's like the train for hiking in LA. All right, so let's talk about some of the starter packs from the actual subreddit, because I think that the subreddit is the subreddit's massive, and like it's interesting because it like hits at all these different kinds of cultures. Like every once in a while I'll see something on the starter pack subreddit where I'll just be like, damn, I straight up don't get that at all. And some people will. This is not one of those. I totally get this one. I thought this was fucking hilarious. Yeah. So for anybody, this is the other aspect of starter packs I think is really funny, is like the like stare at it for a second and you're like, what is it's funny. That's funny.
Oh God. Yeah.
So this one is being single during Valentine's Day starter pack, and it's a meat. It's I guess
there's a guy that's beating his meat. Another guy is petting his pussy. Another guy's flicking his bean. Another guy's tugging his rope.
Tugging the rope is the thing. Is so funny.
I was like, what's he flicking? Oh, yeah.
Right. I know. I thought that was a giant rawhide.
That's a clever one, I gotta say. I'm impressed.
Hey, I like it.
Here, this is a really good one for you guys. So this is the starter pack comments starter pack. So
this is perfect.
wow, that's literally me. I'm in this picture. I don't like it. Ha ha ha. You described me so accurately. Lol lol. Is this a personal attack? Is this literally the kind of shit that you guys get?
Oh, I mean, I feel personally attacked. That's about all the comments. But I
seriously,
attack.
People feel attacked.
Well, I mean,
I feel like
it a
that's a
joke,
funny
or?
thing to say now. People say that to be funny now. Like,
if I feel personally attacked, that's how I know I really like knocked it out of the park.
You did a great job on that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
this
is another one that I think is insane because I didn't really I can't believe this fucking cookie thing is a real thing because I remember this as a kid, and I don't understand how it's a universal thing. It seems weirdly specific. So this is like the disappointment starter pack, and it's literally do anybody know what this cookie jar or this cookie tin is? Do you guys remember this?
The cookie tin. Yes. Okay. Apparently, like
Royal
old
Dance.
ladies
my grandma's
and like
cookie,
aunts and stuff will use old cookie tins like that to store like their sewing supplies. So like people will see a cookie tin and be like, "Fuck yeah!" Like Aunt Sally's got shortbread cookies, and then they'll open it and it's just a bunch of like thread and needles and shit.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand
like
is how did that
depression.
become a thing? Because
I know,
like this was my childhood
so
was
weird.
like this too.
Well, because
this is what's so weird. It became like a thing. I feel like someone put a starter pack out, and then everyone was like, I feel like that's how people realized, oh my God, this is a universal thing because that happened to me too.
There's a Bernstein effect with using the starter pack. But that's a good tin, right? Like that's from an era where things were tin, and now everything's plastic throwaway. And I think things used to be reusable like that, and I don't think we get as much tin in our lives, which is really a bummer. I don't know. I miss a tin.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, I actually just I inexplicably found an article about it, right? So why we keep finding cookies in sewing kit containers. Oh, that's hilarious. That's actually really fun. It's really funny.
I like that guy looks like it's just a straight heroin addict. That's Joe Coy. Hey, Joe Coy.
Joe Coy.
He's a stand-up comedian.
That's a very specific type of bro. Like
it is.
He's like 46-foot rocks, like a straight brimmed hat. It's very like San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego bro.
It's Orange County, maybe San Clemente. It's like on the border of San Diego. It's like
we've got the viewers tuning in here. So being too cheap to buy proper holder and the tin is a nice storage. I mean, fair. Like that's true. The shortness is fair, but it seems weirdly like
upcycle
specific, though, and then like lasting forever, which is
actually I think they go hand in hand because look, anybody who sews is fixing their own clothes, right? So they're inherently I don't know what cheap is a word, but just like resourceful. So saving a fucking awesome tin makes. What are you gonna go buy a tin? No, you got a tin from the cookies. Bada bing.
I will say, even people who don't make their own clothes do have like sewing supplies of their own.
Interesting.
But, like, so it's usually just sewing supplies. Like, people putting like weed or drugs in their butter cookie.
That's a great idea. Yeah, you could use that for a drug stash box or.
There's a 14-year-old kid version of reusing the cookie jar tin.
Rig in there.
There's a Zippo. There's some weed. There's like those nudie cards you got from Las Vegas that time your friend went there when he was 11.
Oh yeah, the sewing supplies just work so well. Like butter cookies are like the sewing supplies of cookies. They're like old. I don't know, like old people always. I don't know.
There's something depressing about it. It's like what you were saying about sharper image. Like when you're a kid, you want like all like if you're gonna have a storage thing, like get like the cool one with like a Lamborghini on the top. Like, like, there's something depressing when you're a kid about like reusing stuff, and there's like I don't know.
It's very interesting. I mean, it's such a strange phenomenon. It's very, very odd. But anyway, so that disappointment. So I'm going to pull up another one. Let's see. Let's break down.
Yeah, getting told you have to reuse a tin is a shaft from your parents. You're like, well, fuck you, parents. I don't get a new box. They're like, no, reuse this old shitty tin. Here's this U-Band can. It can be your new backpack. What?
Oh, weird.
By the way, I feel like I'm like auditioning for a part on like VH1 We Love the 80s as like a talking head. Like this is building up to really getting that gig. Okay.
Wow, look at that. These ones, yeah, I've always noticed the ones that don't do as well on Camp Good Bar is, is if I have too many things you have to busy. If you have too many things you have to read.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's funny.
So
I made
aesthetic thing.
I made the "What time were you born?" starter, or the girl that asked "What time were you born?" starter pack, and I had a bunch of written on it, and it didn't do that well. And when I took the written stuff out and reposted with just pictures, it did great.
Yeah, sometimes
but I mean, this one, I think this guy's really going for it.
That's a busy.
I mean, this so weirdly specific and like it's specific and it's futurist and it's like this one, like I'm like my brain is breaking trying to figure this one out. Like
this is a whole movie pitch. This is a TV series pitch for Amazon Prime. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
So for anybody who's just listening, this is 2020s, or I'm sorry, 2010s through 2020s, rich college kid in an alternate universe where the Confederacy won. So
who thought of this?
I don't know. So I guess this is saying there's a world of rich college kid who like they do the so this is making a commentary about the kind of MAGA supporters, I guess, that currently exist, where the people who like storm the Capitol are like rich kids from like nice suburban homes who are just like, that's their rebellion, that they're just like, yeah, like keep up our statues, whatever. So this one is the exact opposite. So it's all these like alt kids. So like I'm taking Introduction to Drapetomania because it fulfills both psychology and physical education credits.
Yeah, MAGA supporters who don't work hard.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is like accounting, like accountant sons who wear like fucking like North Face polos in current society. This is the alternative. This is fucking. This is confusing. This one's an odd one.
Is that the Forrest Gump house?
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
You just nailed it. Non-fleece North Face merch is such a fucking vibe.
Totally.
Like a North Face T-shirt. It's like, who are you? That's fucking. You're like, are you?
Oh, interesting. All right. So group
it.
You get assigned versus group your only friend got assigned to in the college starter pack.
This sucks.
Again,
and it's so relatable.
Highly specific. So
this is
group
awesome.
You got assigned to. So two people who are already best friends and don't. So this one is all about. I mean, I remember this experience, but this feels like it's written by a college kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it was written by a college kid, literally like freshly wounded from this experience.
Right.
This is kind of every group of people I've ever been in to some extent, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, for the people listening, it's a group you got assigned to, and it's the two people who are already best friends, the guy on his phone who never does anything, the mature student who's always busy and has kids, and the person who never shows up and is never heard from again. And then the group your only friend gets assigned to. Yeah. The group that your only friend in class got assigned to, they start a group chat together. They text each other constantly. They somehow live near each other and go out every weekend. Is anyone hungry? We should all grab lunch after this. I'm having a party this weekend. We should all come. And they all just become the best group of college friends ever. Sounds like the worst really possible experience ever.
Dude, yeah, college groups were weird, especially if you would have to host a group at your house because you're bringing in vibes of people that aren't in your immediate. Yeah. The energy gets real weird.
Quick.
It's real weird.
They're total strangers.
Yeah, and people are like, immediately judgmental about your couch with duct tape, and you're like, yeah, I'm one of those guys with the couch with the duct tape, and
big deal.
And
I this one is deeply, deeply personal. Like I totally get this one. So this happens on, this is like a very specific Reddit one actually, which is actually quite interesting. So if you search by the front page of Reddit, this always happens where if you see that breaking news sign, it means like something is fucking going down, and then mega thread is like the ultimate like. Jesus Christ,
this is so triggering.
This is really
and then someone's post with like 5,000 words. You're like, fuck, what did they say?
Oh no, I know.
I love breaking news.
Yeah,
I mean, I love it. Like I get a little serotonin burst every time I get like the BBC like. Because you just get it, and you're just like breaking news, and you're just like, it's a little. I mean, it's never good news. It's never something nice. So it's always a little bit like something bad is happening right now. But that like something bad is happening right now, I have a moment where I'm just like, ooh, where did this shooting happen?
This will sound like when you see breaking news on like the CNN, and then like they cut to like the Atlantic Ocean, it's like on fire. It's like, oh, that's awful, but like, god damn it, like what happened?
No, I mean, it was like 2020 was kind of a drug. It was like a natural high. But it would be interesting
kind of.
if you could like manufacture a designer drug that would like give you those stress endorphins, and you could like go out to a club, and it was literally like the way you experience like 9/11 happening.
Oh my god! We're writing screenplays in real time as we speak. I mean, that is a fucking banger of an idea. Can you fucking imagine?
You don't have to have the tragedy, but you get the same sort of guilty pleasure of like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, totally
crazy.
And then
I would totally take that drug.
Well, and then you could come up with like, yo man, you got any DC sniper? And it's like time. It's like,
but like speed it up a little. Like I want it all in one afternoon. I don't want 2 weeks of it.
The DC sniper's time released because it happened like once a week.
Oh,
it's right,
dude.
You're just kind of going out for like a few hours. You can just take like a Sandy Hook.
Oh man. Oh, sorry, bro. I don't actually have any Sandy Hook right now, but I do have that one cop in LA who like killed all those other cops and ran up to Big Bear.
I'll take it.
I'll have it. Awesome.
Did you guys see Dr. Sleep? Did you watch Dr. Sleep? You guys definitely.
9 car chase.
No,
like for like a weeknight where you have to work tomorrow. You get car chase. Yeah,
and like the Challenger, like they don't make anymore.
Oh yeah, no, those are like that's like Quaaludes.
Yeah, like Quaaludes, like the Kent State shooting. Oh yeah, no, we haven't. They made all those ingredients illegal, man. We haven't been able to have any of those in 30 years.
Your uncle that talks about Thai stick. It's just like
Thai stick. What is Thai stick? Is that like opium weed or something?
It's just like a thing that's it was like or like Panama Red or so, just one of those drugs.
Your uncle that went to Vietnam talks about, yeah.
Oh man, dude, we had Panama Red. It's like, dude, I have green coffee. Like, don't talk to me about your Panama Red. OG like you basically get it. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. I like absolutely love that idea.
One of the questions is how do you manufacture it? Yeah, how do you make it and manufacture it? It's got like a Dr. Sleep, like steal it from the kids when they're scared vibe, or you got to like milk it out of something.
Wait, is Dr. Sleep entirely about adrenochrome?
It's about like milking kids' fear or something.
I really
ironically
through their penises behind a church. I didn't get it.
Great.
For politicians that are using adrenochrome, what is the preferred method? Is it like made into a drug, or do they literally take a baby and like? Because that's a lot of like, that's a lot to.
Because in Dr. Sleep, they're killing the kid, and then when they every time they stab him, like that stuff comes out of their mouth. I think I forget.
They sort of breathe in like a fear, which is like a gas kind of a thing.
Yeah. Right.
If they can figure out these vaccines, they can figure this out.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, we need to first. We need about 1 million chicken eggs, and then we're just gonna inject the eggs with adrenochrome.
Exactly.
This is
OD'd on Parkland.
OD'd on Parkland. Jesus Christ! All right, so we're gonna let's hit a couple more. I know we're kind of getting to Joe Rogan time here, so let's hit a couple more starter packs before we close this fella out. So this one is another one I was like. Tight.
So
relatable.
This is dad checking on you during a depressive episode starter pack. How relatable.
This is an example of actually words, but because they're so short, it totally works.
Yeah, and it's
That's
also like
a
the
good
words
point.
are so stereotypical that it's actually really important to include the words. So you have
They're perfect dad words.
yeah.
This is like
Champ.
a playbook for me for the rest of my life with my kids. Can you save this one for me and
I know.
text it to me on the back
Door
end?
opener closed is so funny.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. Door opener closed.
I love the pursed fist. Hey.
Hey.
Well, so this is actually this is a good distinction on this one when you talk about the words, because these are all quotes except for one of them. And I feel like the quotes really work, but then the one that says doesn't really understand why you're sad, but doesn't really try either. That one is
so
like
sad.
that one, yeah, but it like doesn't really add much to this. Like all the other ones are really like paint the picture, right? Where you're like door opener closed, like
it kind of gets
like
the point across without that.
Picks
like,
up random object or toy in your room and says, haven't seen one of these in years.
Camp Good Boys. Those pictures kind of serve as like the action line in a script, and then the dialogue is the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they almost like the image is what you maybe write in the action line. And now that I'm seeing this like as a script, it's almost like visual representation of a page in a weird way.
And actually, going back to the mall and the '90s starter pack, I purposely put the phone at the end. You know, because like you do all that stuff and then you're ready to go home.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you view it as a sequence, and the sequence kind of paints
And sometimes you can put one little thing that makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
It's like a little candy sprinkled.
I made the Sundance Film Festival starter pack, and I just put John Hamm in there because he's at like every award show, every red carpet, and there were people that were just like, I don't think people got it. They were just like, you just put John Hamm in there just because. And I'm like, yeah.
He is always around, and people are always kind of like, "Oh, Ham's here!" Like he's just a fixture of what's cool.
He's so not a cool elusive. Like he's no Benicio del Toro.
No, not even close.
He's just Ham. He's just fucking Ham.
He's fucking Ham, man.
It's just like a piece of ham just fucking like walked into Little Dom's.
I think I've seen him at Little Dom's.
Here's one more, and then we'll I think we'll maybe close out on the top of all time. Can maybe break that one down a little bit, and then we'll close one out. What were you going to say, Dom?
I was going to ask, do you guys just do you use Reddit? I know we've sort of talked a little bit about Reddit, but I know you're not like the biggest Redditors. Maybe don't worry, you won't get hate mail from our people. But I think I'm looking at a lot of these starter packs. I'm not that impressed compared to yours. I think are way better. If you posted your stuff on here, I think you could dominate the sub in a way where it would.
You tried.
I tried, and
we don't.
Every time I try to make a Reddit, I'll make it when I post something, and they won't post it. They're like, "You need to build up karma or something."
Yeah, we'll get you some karma.
And then I'll try to. Like you got to wait 11 minutes. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, these are the loop. Yeah, these are the speed bumps. We don't.
That happens to me sometimes. There's this one subreddit I always try to post in. It's called Blurry Pictures of a Dog. And like I always forget the first rule is the title has to be a blurry picture of a dog. So I always try to write a fun title and then it gets rejected and makes you wait like 20 minutes to post it again. So I know the pain.
And Dad, you tell me if I'm right. The different subs have different rule sets, correct, for what they allow and how
they all have. And the super popular ones, usually like you have to have a certain amount of credibility because they just get swamped by like weird bots and like bad like ads for stupid products and shit. So they'll say like, yeah, you have to have the X amount of like to post on like funny or pics. You have to like be a very active Reddit user. But if you want a tip on how to up your karma, my suggestion, and this is what I tell everybody is. And you guys are writers, so this will be great, is go to Roast Me, which is where you're just like just ripping on kids pretty much.
It's like teenagers with zits that they post a picture, they're like, go for it. And you get to just rip on them openly. It's really great.
I'll post it up. So roast me is my tip. It's always like, and what I do is I search. It's also very mean too. A lot of them are like harsh, but I always just search by new, and then I'll like be the first person, and I'll just like say something mean, and then people start upvoting that, and then all of a sudden I get up, right? So like,
So
that's how you get to
nothing
the
else
top.
to do. Hit me with the roasts, and then you post some fucking bullshit.
And then when your comment gets upvotes, you get karma points. That's
You
how
get
the
karma.
system works.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, I really should start posting mine to Reddit. I mean, I think some of mine have made it to Reddit just through the
That's
you know,
cool. Yeah,
the internet.
that's like the ultimate respect.
Yeah.
Somebody ripped you off.
Use Reddit. I feel like this is like I'm not using what it's supposed to be. I'm missing out on so much because I use it for like practical purposes. Like when I can't figure out when I upload to like Big Sur, I can't get my computer data stream, and it's literally like all these incels just like with all these like horrifying things like within the stuff.
Yeah, I've always used Reddit, not actually going to Reddit, just Googling like when she doesn't text back, what does that mean?
Yeah. Weird like practical things, but then like within finding the answer, there's all this like really dark subversive shit.
That's why we love it. That's exactly the purpose of Reddit.
But then you also have to remember everybody on Reddit is a 13-and-a-half-year-old boy who's very angsty. So that's the context of every comment. It's
the bottom left kind of looks like.
You know, it's weird that last starter pack you pulled up, that Bermuda Triangle, how I've been in the Bermuda Triangle. I feel like we probably all have. Like, how legit is that?
Yeah,
that's huge.
This is missing quicksand.
Oh, that's
and this is hilarious because this one is another one that hits back at like the mall culture one, right? Where it's like you remember this as a kid and you think of it very fondly, and this is another one where you're just like, oh yeah, like never in my life will I ever get close to the Bermuda Triangle because I don't want to die, right? And then now it's like. Yeah, vacation there many times. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wouldn't go there.
2 weeks ago, I had a friend say he went there, and I was immediately. He was like, "Oh, the fishing's great. I caught like a big tuna or whatever." And I was like, I immediately was scared for him. I was like, "Are you fucking? Are you psycho, man? Like you don't go there,
die, bro? Yeah,
are you crazy, man? You're an adult."
The Bermuda Triangles like put a point on the board.
Yeah, they need to get.
They're kind of long overdue for something to disappear.
Oh my god!
The only thing I would have added to that is getting pickpocketed, maybe as a fear. But
So we'll end on this one. How about this? This is actually a pretty fun one to end on because this is like contextual. So the U.S. stimulus check starter pack, and then it's a. So what is that for? That's for hypnosis. I don't know what that is, but splurging on a little treat, and it's just literally medication. And then buying some more time. Which is like, paying off a credit card.
Tiny bit of your card off.
A little bit of your card. Fixing your death trap car. I've had a lot of friends do this where they like get their starter pack or they get their stimulus check and they just have to pay off a fucking car. And then being a college student and not qualifying, which I didn't know that was a thing.
That fucking sucks.
Not qualifying for any loans or any credit cards or anything like that. Yeah, makes sense.
Dude, it's not enough.
Cool world.
Oh, yes. That's a great neck beard.
The decade will end in 2021 starter pack.
Wow. Okay,
So
there's
we're-
one other really funny beard one you've got to see. And
All
then
right,
I
we'll
will
end
leave
on
you guys
that one. I
alone.
know that we keep delaying it. Using stop, drop, and roll. This our buddy Jingle Hops from the things you're afraid of with kids. That was another one, right? Like, have you guys? When was the last time you thought about the stop, drop, and roll?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, really.
Good question.
Like we were taught that was the thing, and like, there can't be any anecdotal evidence of that actually working, right?
Like
did like Steve-O try that?
No, I feel like if you tried it, the fire's gonna be like the laughing DiCaprio.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
My beard
is
is
rough.
my personality starter pack.
Every one of them is doing the eye. So many guys with beards do this.
So true.
I don't vibe.
They take a picture with their eye. These are a bunch of neck beard miladies, and then there are a couple with the little twisties. But overall, it's like there's not a whole lot to them.
The twisty beard makes me think Aryan Nation and I'm not part of the Aryan Nation, but I'm afraid of it. You know, like I'm kind of like, all right, keep clear of that guy. You know what I mean?
All right, yeah. He's over there.
Those Charlottesville bros.
Yeah. They're Charlottesville.
Or you think they're going to be a Charlottesville bro, and then like you go to a party at their house, he's making like old fashions. It's like, I guess.
And like homemade raviolis. You're like, what? Wow, this is amazing. I'd love to come back.
The Charlottesville bros they're like surprisingly sharp. Like they're like with the fits.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Well, anyway, so I think this is probably the end. So, Camp Good Boy boys, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been like a fucking treat.
Yeah.
Seriously,
I would love to do this again.
Guys.
I think that there's infinite amount of things to talk about. Thanks for everybody who's been listening and following along. Do you guys have anything that you guys are actively promoting right now? Obviously, your podcast, your Instagram page.
Our movie? No,
just Camp Good
Boy.
Yeah,
just Camp Good Boy.
Camp Good Boy. Well, okay.
And what's the movie called again? Sorry, it's a Hitman's Bodyguard's Grandma.
It'll be out in August. Yeah.
In August. Oh wow! So they're
damn.
You guys just finished.
So it's in production right now, or
supposed to come out last summer, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic,
so it's already shot and ready to roll.
Shot, cut, VFX, the whole fucking.
Oh man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
We wanted to get a screening, so we had to like hustle a little to get them to do a writer screening at the studio, but mostly because I wanted to make sure they had 2 L's in Philip.
I mean, exactly.
Well, let us know. We'd love to come hype you up at the screening.
Out of here.
I wrote the
Who all's in it? So we got Ryan. Oh wow, Ryan Reynolds, Salma Hayek, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
Hell yes.
Wow. So this is a big one. This would be a big boy.
Film.
That's pretty much everybody.
That's everybody that matters.
Yeah.
You got Morgan Freeman in there.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman in there. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
There's a lot of people that know how to say "fuck you" really good. You know.
There's a lot of F words.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Well, we will stream it live on this channel and get it taken down immediately
via a Russian sub through Reddit.
Being on there was actually really informative to see how, like, when people are looking at the Camp Good Boy starter packs, like what their reaction probably is like. Oh yeah, that I don't really get that, but like what this was actually like
totally. Yeah, and I think it's been interesting talking about it through the lens of character development, because I think that it is like it's one of the we love doing this on the pod where we look at a Reddit that's usually really dumb, and then we kind of start, the more we think about it, that we're like, oh wow, this is actually kind of really informing for these very specific reasons. So I think this is a really fun, it's a really interesting topic, like the starter pack and the reason why one would make a starter pack. So a lot to be gleaned from this. So anyway. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we gleaned the cube on this one pretty hard.
And hopefully we'll be doing this again. But for anybody who's listening, this is Did You Reddit, a weekly podcast about the internet by way of Reddit, the front page of the internet. My name is It's Your Dad.
I'm Dog Boobs.
My free day for Camp Good Boy.
And Camp Good Boy.
We've never done this before, nor did we rehearse it.
Which is just like we like to do everything.
Just like to do it. So we'll be back next week with another episode about the internet. Talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.
Late.